Right now at noon, a winter storm hits the Northland. Meteorologist Hunter McCullough breaks down what you need to know. Plus, high winds and low visibility. We take you live to current road conditions in Duluth.
You're watching KBJR 6 News at noon on KBJR 6, your weather authority.
Here is a live look outside this morning where snow has been falling consistently for the past couple of hours with no signs of stopping for the rest of the day. Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. I'm Kendall Jarbo. Samantha has the day off. The Northland is in the midst of a winter storm bringing at times heavy snow and gusty winds. Let's turn right on over to meteorologist Hunter McCullough, who's been tracking this winter storm for us. It's pretty nasty out there.
It's pretty nasty. Yeah, I did a Facebook Live with meteorologist Bo Fogel earlier this morning, and you couldn't hear us at all because the wind was going crazy. The snow drifts were going crazy. He drove in earlier, and he said the roads were just terrible.
It's so bad.
And that was just a couple hours ago. So even more snow has fallen, and it's pretty treacherous out there in a lot of spots, especially in the southern half of the region. So be very careful if you are heading out this afternoon, and continue to be careful throughout the rest of this forecast period as snow continues to fall here throughout the afternoon here in the Twin Ports. Moderate snowfall, heavy snowfall if you live along the South Shore, especially in Washburn, where we've seen reports of up to a foot in some spots over there. And I'll talk more about that here in just a second. But we are still under a winter storm warning in the Twin Ports, southern half of the Northland, and the southern portions of the North Shore. A winter weather advisory in the northern portions of the Northland here in Minnesota, all in effect until later on Tuesday and early Wednesday morning. But like I said, a lot of snowfall reports between 1 to 3 inches throughout the majority of the Northland. But take a look at this, some lake effect bands approaching a foot. We did just receive a report of a foot of snow over in Washburn, and that's how effective lake effect can be. And look how short of a distance is. Ashland reporting 1.4 inches, 1.5 up in Bayfield, but right here in Washburn, 11.0 inches of snow. So quite a bit of snow has already fallen and is still falling here as we continue to see some lake effect snow, and we will continue to have that snow here over the next couple of days. I'll have much more details here in just a little bit.
We will look ahead to that. Thank you, Hunter.
You're welcome.
Well, let's check in on current road conditions. KBJR 6's Bo Fogel is live for us in the mobile weather lab. Bo, where are you at and how are the roads looking?
So we are heading south on Interstate 35 right now, and I'll say it is bad. If you don't have to go anywhere today, do not go. Visibility, for one, is very low. We can hardly see what's in front of us right now in front of the mobile weather lab. We still catch strong winds blowing the snow around, so it's causing the visibility to be very low. And a lot of the snow, some of the snow has been plowed off, but the wind is blowing the snow back onto the road, so it is very slippery out there, and we're going to continue on seeing this for pretty much the rest of the day. And then, like Hunter said, by tonight it should be done, but we're going to continue on seeing these breezy winds, and with those winds it's going to cause a lot of lake effect snow for not only Duluth but parts of the South Shore. You can see definitely there is some areas along I-35 South that have been plowed, but you notice the winds are just blowing the snow back on, and a lot of this is fluffy wet snow, so it's very easy to slide on these roads. And it's even worse in downtown Duluth and a lot of side roads where roads are completely covered. You can see right there just how strong the wind is. I know there are wind gusts up to about 45 to 50 miles per hour. So we're going to continue on tracking the road conditions for the next couple of minutes. So like I mentioned, if you don't have to go anywhere today, don't go anywhere, stay home. I'll have more updates later on in the show, but back to you guys.
All right, thank you, Bo. And because of this winter storm, several schools and businesses are reporting closures. Now, some school districts were already closed today for President's Day. You can find the full list on KBJR6.com under the Weather tab. The world is watching, waiting, and bracing for Russian President Vladimir Putin's next move. NBC News has learned U.S. intelligence shows Russian military officials have been given the green light to invade Ukraine. Bree Jackson is in Washington with the latest.
The White House says President Biden and Russian President Vladimir Putin have agreed to a summit in principle. Now, that's on the condition that Russia does not invade Ukraine. Citing credible intelligence, U.S. officials say Russia's military has already been given orders to invade Ukraine. NBC News has confirmed following military action, Russia has a list of targets to be killed. The Kremlin calls the claim an absolute fake.
We believe that any military operation of the size, scope, and magnitude of what we believe the Russians are planning will be extremely violent. It will cost the lives of Ukrainians and Russians, civilians and military personnel alike.
This comes amid increased tensions in the region, with more than 1,500 explosions over the weekend. The U.S. alleges Russians are trying to create a pretext for war, claims Russia denies.
There is no innovation, and there is no such plans.
Ukrainian officials are calling for an immediate ceasefire.
We have already 2 people dead, 11 people wounded, and it keeps going as we speak.
The U.S. is threatening sanctions if an attack occurs, including disrupting Russia's economy and flow of oil.
The president has all the power he needs to do it.
While also warning Americans could face consequences, ranging from higher gas prices to cyber attacks.
It's certainly part of their playbook.
The administration is leaving the door to diplomacy open.
We will go the extra mile on diplomacy.
Secretary of State Blinken plans to meet with his Russian counterpart Thursday. And both meetings with Russia largely depend on Russia's actions in the coming days. President Biden does plan to have a virtual meeting with G7 leaders on Thursday to discuss the crisis in Ukraine. In Washington, I'm Bree Jackson for NBC News.
Here's a live look at the White House in Washington, D.C., where President Biden's search for a new Supreme Court justice is underway. Interviews have started with at least one person having a sit-down with the president last week. Now, that's according to a source familiar with the process. No word yet on how many candidates will be questioned, but an announcement of the nominee could be made within the next few days. A separate White House official says Biden would like to make a decision by the end of the month. In Wisconsin, the Republican-controlled legislature is preparing to pass a package of fast-tracked bills this week, imposing new voter restrictions in the battleground state. The Wisconsin Senate was taking up more than a dozen measures on Tuesday, with final passage in the Assembly expected on Thursday. Governor Tony Evers will likely veto the bills. In Minnesota, testimony resumes today in the trial of 3 former Minneapolis police officers charged with civil rights violations in the death of George Floyd. The men are charged with depriving Floyd of his right to medical care as Floyd died under former officer Derek Chauvin's knee in May of 2020. 2 of the officers are also accused of failing to intervene. The trial could end as early as this week. The Beijing Winter Olympics are now part of history. It was a productive games for Team USA, earning medals all the way to the final day. NBC's Liz McLaughlin has been there since the beginning and has a final report from Beijing.
The Beijing Winter Olympics ends with an exclamation point for Team USA.
That includes Sundling and Sorina.
Cross-country skier Jessie Diggins fighting for the final medal.
Bronze to Niskanen, just out of the medals.
I was like, I just can't give up. I have to put everything I have into the snow today and finish with nothing left. And maybe I can hold on to a medal, maybe not, but I have to try.
That silver capping off a 25-medal haul for the U.S. over 2 weeks, filled with moments that moved and inspired us. Athletes proving the sky's the limit, and age is just a number, with fierce competition and the power of a positive attitude, despite missed medals and finish lines.
Even failing multiple times, that doesn't actually make you a failure.
Crying is okay too, after the retiring run to end an era.
I'm leaving behind a whole lifetime in this sport, and I'm proud of that. I'm proud of every moment.
A tear-stained 2 weeks in figure skating, overshadowed by a doping scandal, ended on a lighter note, with gold medalist Nathan Chen flipping out in an exhibition gala, and Vincent Zhou stepping back onto Olympic ice after pandemic protocols forced him out of competition. Another COVID comeback for Alana Myers-Taylor, finally a flag bearer after missing opening ceremony, for a cinematic close to her historic career as Team USA says goodbye to Beijing. Liz McLaughlin, NBC News, Beijing.
In all, American athletes earned a total of 25 medals during the Games, which was the 5th most by any country, including 8 golds, 10 silvers, and 7 bronze medals. Still to come, after decades of service, a Minnesota senator announces his retirement. Plus, an age-old activity helping veterans on the road to recovery.
And we're in the thick of this winter storm, but there's much more to go as we go into Tuesday as well. I'll have all the latest forecast details, including the future totals and the timing, coming up right after the break.
After 30 years of service to the Iron Range, Minnesota Senator David Thomasoni announced he will not be running for re-election. Senator Thomasoni made that announcement Saturday in an article posted in the Mesabi Tribune. The longtime Minnesota senator revealed he was diagnosed with ALS back in July. He was first elected to the House of Representatives in 1992, elected to the Senate in 2000, and was re-elected 6 times. According to the article, he will continue to serve the rest of his term, which is up in January of 2023. A new anti-speeding initiative led to the arrest of a suspect involved in multiple shootings over the weekend. The Minnesota State Patrol's 10-day anti-speeding initiative was geared towards cracking down on speeding and criminal activity along I-94. During the 10-day period, nearly 150 vehicles were stopped. 2 were arrested for DWIs, 14 citations were issued for invalid driver's license, and 7 were charged with hands-free violations. The suspect arrested in connection with the shooting has not been named. Let's turn now to New York, where veterans are finding an effective new treatment for post-traumatic stress disorder. Carolyn Gusoff has the details.
In a place veterans gather to share drinks and stories, now
inhale, gather. Exhale, rise.
They also share deep breaths and stretches.
Bring your arms up as high as you comfortably can.
They're learning to control bodies and minds to help cope with physical pain and painful memories.
Yoga's been around for over almost 5,000 years. So this is a modality that has been proven itself stands the test of time.
The Veterans Yoga Project is a nationwide nonprofit with in-person classes returning to Babylon and the VA hospitals after a long COVID pause, bringing mindful resilience to veterans. More than stretching, it's about calming the mind.
Learning to take a moment to just stop, use your breath, feel the felt sensations of your body, because that's really important. Feeling, being in the present moment.
Yoga is teaching 78-year-old Vietnam veteran Fred Ben-Savenga to live in the moment instead of past traumas.
It keeps me in the present, where I don't think back anymore, to the atrocities of war. You focus on the now. It's mind control. It's moving parts of your body that you never even begin to move.
Lower your chin.
Navy vet Tom Dunscombe says it improves his flexibility.
You feel like, a lot less stress in the shoulders.
Veterans in the program report having better sleep, less alcohol and drug use, improved social relationships, and more gratitude. This Air Force vet who now teaches yoga to fellow veterans says it enabled her to change her mindset.
I'm able to find value in all things and see beauty in the world, where once before I only saw chaos.
100 free yoga classes online and in person offered each week to veterans and family members, serving those who have served our nation by helping them breathe a little easier.
Namaste means that the light in my heart shines out to the light in your heart. So namaste.
Let's check in once again on current road conditions. KBJR 6's Bo Fogel is live for us in our mobile weather lab. Bo, how are the roads looking?
There is still very bad outside. We're now just turning right onto Midway Road. We were on Highway 2 heading west. Now we're on Midway Road, and the roads are still very bad outside. Fortunately, I have not seen any crashes, but I've seen lots of plows out trying to plow the roads. But the problem is that the winds are so strong that it's blowing the snow right back onto the road. So it's causing the roads to be slippery, and the winds making it hard to see. Visibility is very low outside. So if you do have to go out, please just take it slow. Make sure you have your headlights out, folks. I have seen a lot of people without their headlights on, so make sure those are on. So roads are very crazy outside, so please just be careful out there. But I'm going to toss over to Hunter, who's going to give us the timeline and how much snow we can expect. Hunter?
Thank you, Bo, and thank you for heading out there and just checking out those roads. Make sure to drive safe here as we go into the rest of this afternoon, as well as the snow continues to fly here. We're in the first wave. We have 2 waves here, folks, and this is the first wave of some heavier snowfall here in the Twin Ports over into northwest Wisconsin. And again, we have that lake effect band that has set up in Washburn. They've reported nearly a foot of snow over in those portions of the Northland, and we'll see similar amounts here along much of the South Shore as we continue to see those strong wind gusts coming right off of Lake Superior. Again, right in the middle of this first wave. Look at this wind gust, 53 miles per hour down here in Canal Park, 31 mile per hour wind gusts in Ashland, 35 mile per hour wind gusts on top of the hill as well. So gusting over 50 mile per hour at times. This is nearly blizzard conditions, folks. So visibility very low, especially here in Duluth where we're seeing those really strong wind gusts. Please drive safe as the majority of the Northland in the southern half of the region and some of northern Minnesota seeing partially to completely covered roads. And like Bo mentioned, with those strong winds, we're seeing a lot of blowing and drifting snow as well. Very difficult to get measurements out there because of the blowing and the drifting snow all over the place. As we go into the rest of the afternoon, again, this is the first wave of 2 that we're going to be seeing. So right here in the early part of the afternoon, the heaviest snowfall, the strongest winds as well here in the Twin Ports over into northwest Wisconsin. But eventually, into the later parts of this evening, we will see this start to lighten up a little bit. Overnight by 11 o'clock, getting a little break in the action. A few lingering light snow showers still possible, especially along the South Shore. Into the overnight hours, still seeing some breezy winds overnight. Then we head into Tuesday and a very similar timeline to what we saw today. The second wave approaching us in the late morning hours on Tuesday into the early afternoon. And once again, those strongest snowfall rates are going to be in the early afternoon on Tuesday, especially in northwest Wisconsin, Ashland, Ironwood, further off to the east as well along that South Shore. Continuing into the evening hours on Tuesday, still seeing some moderate to heavy snowfall, and then starting to wrap up here Tuesday night and especially early Wednesday morning, for the most part wrapped up here throughout the majority of the Northland, but seeing some lingering lake effect snow showers in Ironwood and further off to the east as well. So like I said, this is a 2-day snowfall event, so we're going to kind of break it down here by day. Monday, today, we're going to be seeing 7 to 10 inches here in the Twin Ports and over along the South Shore as well, with a little bit more possible, especially near Ashland and over into Ironwood, areas like that. But 4 to 7 inches near Hibbing, Grand Rapids, 2 to 4 off to our north. Tuesday, another 4 to 7 inches falling here in the Twin Ports, with 7 to 10 inches over into Ashland, Ironwood, further off to the east. So by the time we're all said and done, 11 to 17 inches here in the Twin Ports, 14 to 20 inches in areas like Ashland, Washburn, Ironwood, and further off to the east, with a little bit less the further off to the north you go. But quite a bit of snow falling. It will be heavy at times, wind gusts over 30 miles per hour at times. It's also important to remember that this is a prolonged event, so there will be some breaks in the snow likely, and there may still be a couple slight shifts in this forecast, but for the most part, it's looking spot on as far as the models are going so far. So that's the good news. Wednesday, we start to calm down. We have the sunshine return. We have this nice area of high pressure that's going to last us here through the rest of the week. A high of 10 degrees on Wednesday, 9 on Thursday, 12 degrees on Friday, warming up to 21 degrees by Saturday with a slight chance for some light flurries, and will be a little bit warmer later on this weekend. So we just have to get through today and tomorrow, and then we'll see some warmer weather eventually later on this weekend. So that's the good news. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel there, Kendall.
Did you say 53 degrees?
53
miles per hour.
I wish it was 53 degrees. Wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah, right. Miles per hour wind in Canal Park.
Down here in Canal Park right now.
I almost flew over walking from my car.
My gosh, there's drifts everywhere, and it's pretty breezy right now.
It's crazy.
Yes.
Thank you, Hunter.
You're welcome.
Well, still to come, SpaceX launches its latest hopes for broadband access. SpaceX is sending 46 Starlink satellites to space. The fleet launched aboard a Falcon 9 rocket this morning and is headed to low Earth orbit. According to SpaceX, its Starlink system provides high-speed broadband access, allowing video calls, streaming, and other activities which have not traditionally been possible with satellite internet.
Well, let's take another live look outside at these roadways. Once again, folks, make sure to drive with care as we go into this afternoon with blowing and drifting snow. Snow still falling as well, especially if you live along the South Shore where that heavy snow will be. We're still under a winter storm warning here throughout the majority of the Northland here in the Twin Ports, down to our south as well, as we're still expecting 11 to 17 inches through both of those waves today and tomorrow here in the Twin Ports, with even more in Ashland, Ironwood, and further off to the east. You can always download the KBJR 6 weather app for the latest watches and warnings, our latest forecast. Adam Lorch will be back tonight as well to be talking about his latest forecast as well, and we'll continue to keep you up to date here into this full event.
And we will be back in the morning with the latest.
Exactly. Amen to that.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you back here tonight at 5.